All right. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. So yesterday, um, and thank God we are now able to fix all our technical difficulties. And of course, our guest is also a very busy man, so he couldn't do yesterday. Thank you guys for bearing with us. My name is Olaniyi Ajilore. I'm the founder and the news publisher for Reference Daily News. We have with us um, Mr. Ajayi Kunle Wiseman. Mr. Kunle is a poet, dramatist, journalist, trade unionist, revolutionary socialist, and of course, African Action Congress (AAC) party governorship candidates for the Ondo 2024. Mr. Ajayi, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lani.
All right, all right, all right. So we're gonna dive into it. I'm gonna be asking a couple of questions. We're gonna be starting from vision and I mean your vision and your leadership. So the first question is gonna be um, what inspired you to run for governor of Ondo State under the AAC banner, and what do you believe set you apart from the other candidates? I'm talking about all these big money, or what's it called? Big bag, the established parties.
The inspiration is beyond just an inspiration. It's an organizational thing. The first is that we are defending our idea that you can have situations where we will not queue behind the ruling class parties at any point anymore because our ideas are quite different from their own ideas.
Comrade, I think we kind of echo a little bit. Maybe you want to move back a little bit. That way we can hear you better. Just move back, right, like that. Yes. Now you can speak to the mic again. Let's see. Go ahead.
Okay, so we have a situation very splendidly that uh, the Nigerian ruling class has largely and abysmally put up a set of representatives in the offices of government with which, they perfect neoliberal policies that make Nigerians massively unemployed with about 33%, one of the largest globally. We have a situation where Nigerians are suffering and smiling. And in fact, now people are no more smiling. You find a lot of suicide cases, several bad cases all over Nigeria. So we also find a situation where you find people who become governors, people who even became presidents, people who don't even know anything about at least a good knowledge of political economy with which you govern society. So why do we become backbenchers in such situations? It should not happen. So what we have positionally said in our party, the African Action Congress, is that we, at every point in time, when it is to organize at the barricades, will continue to be there. Two, at the point of voting, representing people by their own ballots, as it is, we will also continuously organize, because these are events, democratic events, supposedly democratic events. And so we should not miss out. And that is why we have been contending as a political party and as one of the leaders of the party. And we have to show what we are saying in theory, what we have been preaching all around, what we have been going everywhere to lead protests, lead NSAS, fight for electricity in the South, do a lot of things, mobilize, organize all over, make sure that Nigeria is not polarized alongside ethnic faculties, and use in divide and conquering the people. We have built political solidarity with the IPOP, in terms of saying people have the right to self-determination. You get it? But it should be determined on a democratic note, and there should not be any occasion where you trample on that democratic right. Society has to be governed in a very democratic manner. And so you don't enforce bad policies on the people as it is now. Look at the situation with petrol. So we took a very correct choice to say that we are not going to be giving our political tickets on our parties to billionaires, to all of these persons who do not extol, who do not understand the ideas with which we are propelling as a political party. Because our party stands for the socialist reconstruction of the society, of the Nigerian society, rebuilding the Nigerian society to a situation where we do not have just the 1% having the whole of the weight that the whole of the 99.9% is supposed to have. So these are the inspirations that decidedly say, okay, let's see, all of these persons contesting. We have the APC guy, the PDP people, and you find them not even convinced in terms of the ideas to rebuild society. They do not even understand the political economy of rebuilding Ondo State. They do not understand what the greatest of them all, Adekunle Ajayi, have done in terms of building society first and foremost with building government collective business, because government has the largest capital. And two, building social welfare of the society. Because when you talk about land, labor, and capital, both land and capital remain lame without labor. So the working people, human beings, are those who matter the most. And these human beings, they need housing, they need employment, they need education, free, functional, and compulsory. They need healthcare, world class, advanced. They need to live. And for the people to live, some of us who understand this cannot continue to be backbenchers. That is why we are in the race.
All right, so I'm going to be following up with that particular question about, of course, your vision and your leadership. And the second question is going to be if you can share with us your long-term vision for this race, of course, for the states of Ondo, and what specifically area do you see as a priorities for your immediate attention?
First and foremost, we built our manifesto on a two-pillar developmental project. For us, we are political economists who understand the capitalism as it is, even more than the capitalists. Because we know very much that to build society, you need growth and development. How do you build growth? Building business. And who has the best power to build such business? The people who can have the highest number of working class. The Ondo State has the highest number of workers. No private employer has as much as Ondo State, in terms of even half of workers that Ondo State has. So it has abundant labor and it can explore more. Then it also has the land, as well as having the largest capital. So it is complete badadash for Ondo State government, for Nigerian government, to have all of these three advantages as a state and say government has no business in business. This is one thing that we will have to erase. And we are not bringing magic. Now, why we talk, say, this good governance no be rocket science. It is not rocket science. It's not big deal. We have nostalgia. We have nostalgia, beautiful nostalgia. Ondo State used to have Owena Holdings, big companies, Ifon Ceramic, Aromio Boroba Estate, Uluwa Glass, Oktikwayompa PLC, Ondo Texas, Owena Bank, Owena Transport. And we also have gotten more resources after that. So who is saying that Government do not have business in business. What business does government have when it does not do its own business? How will the people that constitute government, how will the people that constitute the states survive when they are not doing business? Those who own the largest capital, those who own the largest land, those who own the largest labor and can employ same, should be the biggest in the business of business. So that's what we are saying in our first agenda. And then the second one is that government need not to burden people that are creating the wealth, because without human beings, without all those state people, we will not be getting the kind of allocation we have, even despite our resources. Our working class is working very strong. We will not condole a situation whereby Governor Lokiayi that were as a governor today, who have gotten over 100 billion as allocation thus far, even in just in his 1 year ascension to the throne, of the late boss, keeps for the past 4 months has been removing 20,000 naira out of the palliative pays that belong to every worker. This is not only embarrassing, this is greedy, excessively greedy. The money that is not even available for workers, the money that cannot take them home, that cannot even buy petrol for their journey in 2-3 days. National NLC and TUC trade unions have run to our battles 70,000 minimum wage, even when it is not even enough, because we in African Action Congress advocate for a 250,000 minimum wage. As it is, with what we have, when the average people has lost their purchasing power. If you have 100,000, don't be like you get 10,000 for Nigeria. They tell you, ask any Nigerian. You get 10,000, don't be like you get 1K. 1K food, if you chop 5-year-old picking, make you belly food. I tell you.
All right.
So the thing is that the situation we have in Nigeria today, it is beyond just having inspirations, but it is that we must intervene at all costs. We must intervene in all of the struggles. We must intervene in all of the people's assemblies, in all of the people's marches, in all of the people's protests, because we do not even have the wealth that belongs to many of these persons who cannot even deliver good governance.
That's actually going to be my next question. Of course, on economy and development. So the question is going to be, of course, we know that our states, Ondo states, because I'm part of Ondo as well, is rich in natural resources, of course, yet many believe that the potential is underutilized, as you just rightly said. What strategy do you plan to implement to boost the economy, development, and create jobs? It's like you're freezing over there. Are you there? All right, we just lost our host, our guest. I think he should be back. Are you back? Okay.
Yes, I'm not hearing you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Mic check.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the next question is going to be about the economy and development, of course, policy that you want to put in place. As I've said, Ondo State is, of course, is very rich in natural resources, and yet we believe that, of course, this potential is underutilized. So, what is your strategy? What strategy do you have? Do you plan to implement to boost the economic development and create jobs in those states?
Like I told you, we are going to explore. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. We can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Like I told you, we are going to explore as it is now. Nigeria is in a neoliberal era. So the best way to develop under this economy is to reverse. That's why we say our own movement is take it back. Is to reverse all of the bad neoliberal policies, because we have the advantage now. Many of our resources are still under. Agbabu bitumen is still under the second largest concentration globally in Ondo State. We still have a lot of resources that can make us live independently. They can make us giants that even Lagos go fear, because we get beach, one of the largest in West Africa, at Araromi in Ilaje. We can build long-term Amsterdam plan You get it? On the Ondo South Coastal River, Eremi. You get it? When we build the Eremi plan, because what it means is that
I think we lost you again over there.
because we will have to learn and we are inspired. You get it? You know, at Ayetoro as it is, one of the most developed towns in Ilaje, is now in its own, skeletal self again. Very horrible, very sympathetic, and the government is not coming to their aid. And this is caused by the bad exploration of oil, you get it, as it is, and the situation where people do not respect what climate change does. Just like you have it in Lagos that before it rain fall like this for Lekki, everywhere, you need to buy boats. You get it? At Aja and
I think you lost you there again.
society that should not only be absolutely, you get it, congressional. Everybody knows what we want to do. Everybody knows that we want to build plenty companies so that the whole of the money will not go just depend on allocation from federal government. But the allocations of federal government just keep it to start our own bank. In Ondo State, we just start our own bank with the allocation we will get every month, because even from one company alone, from the rejuvenation of Okpara Palm PLC, palm oil is said pass through globally. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So we have bitumen, we have plenty things. So when we are able to explore all of these things in terms of really building business, not where you would just say you employ 316 special assistants. When we get portfolio, no portfolio, which is embarrassing. So when I read it, it was just a laughable stock. Because now what do you do with that? You choose and select just a few people out of many youths, many old people, many people in their 50s, many Gen Zs, you get it, who are just suffering and smiling all the time. And you pay them to 250K, 300K within the next 2 months to your election. When you win and all of that, you do away with a lot of them, put another one, and start putting the illusion into people. You understand that until when they become some essays and some other things to government, you get it, that's when they can make it. But how much is 316 people out of the many millions of youths in both Ondo State, you get it, and Lagos? What do they want to do? What we are asking for is simple: build industries, build companies, industrialize the state as it is, explore the land. Don't allow it to just be giveaway, sell out rubbish under your neoliberal badadash, under your naira devaluation, under your deregulation of the oil sector, under your transferring of the public wealth to private pockets. These things are not acceptable to sanity. They are not acceptable to humanity. They are not acceptable to redistribution of wealth. Look at it. Look, see how these people hate local government autonomy. Imagine that with local government autonomy as it is today, the Ondo State government is not accepting that what is needed is for a democratic governance from below for the people that can make society do away with what it is today, what has become so bad, so splendidly damaging, that everybody is not proud of how we are doing things. Nobody is proud of how society is. Everybody just hungry. Food prices hike, Jabata. 2,000 naira food, 3,000 naira food. Reach you. Everything is bad. Look, the government of Ondo State under Loki Aiyedatiwa decided, when we wrote that even if you have 1 million Amotekun, it cannot change anything. They moved from that organized Amotekun things to going to give Mtuluomo $1 million, and in that process, hiring a private security network. How many people with private security where you want? You are recruiting rogues. Because building society is not just about armed security, it's about social security.
All right. So since we're talking about security, maybe we should just jump to security and, of course, governance as well. So we know how concerned is it. We've heard about different story about people going to people's farm and destroy their crops and all that. So what are your plans to ensure safety and security for all residents? What will you put in places? Because again, it's like since we don't have state police, how do you what are your plans? What are you gonna do to ensure that your people are safe?
See, is the issue for me. The issue for me is that building security globally. Go and ask the best security in the world
Hmm,
is social security.
hmm,
This is how you do it. It's simple.
hmm,
Bring a situation where the 99% of the population is self-secured. One, economic security. People must get jobs. At least if we have 1,000 people, make 900 of them get jobs. Do you understand? It will drastically reduce crime, and then it will make people more self-secured. You get it? And that self-security at what it stands still will make, because you can't secure people that are not secured.
hmm.
Their belle no dey secured, their housing no dey secured, their education no dey secured, their healthcare is not secured. So their personal and collective development and growth remains lame, and you want to go and secure them with guns and armories. It was Einstein, about Einstein, that said, when you keep doing something over and over and over, you are expecting different results. Na craze. That's what Fela say. It's insanity. Because how long will you continue to militarize society? People say I keep giving an example of Canada, but let's even bring examples within from these elements. I'll give you a classical example. When they said, Obasanjo expanded, the same Obasanjo way obedience they follow, which is an embarrassing thing. And I used to get very, very surprised. Obasanjo, under his own period, conducted open genocide. Zaki Biam, OD.
Hmm.
It caused a lot of issues in the Niger Delta struggles. Benue became, for close to 16 years after, a den of terrorism until today, a violent state. And now, do you know that youths under our society today are built on some illusions in their mind that people like Obasanjo, because they match everywhere, whether I don't drink some, it don't get strong and all of that, doing some dramatics, building PR for themselves. Some youths even announcing at role model. Anybody we won't even respect Obasanjo, if you pass Songwater Road,
So bad.
it's a fun case. That Baba get water farm for there. You
Hmm.
go carry helicopter come dey do one macha rubbish from one road wey good. And even if you even look, make dem zoom under the road wey dey pass, you go know it's embarrassing.
Maybe you should, even though we're talking about security now, let's talk about even the electorate, the people, the populace. Do you think they have enough capacity to actually? Because to me, I've already know that the issue we have is that leadership selection. So now, how do you plan to motivate these people? How do you want to go about the education that they need to understand, the characteristic of good leader? That way, we don't go in cycle because it's like people are stuck with these people. So, how do we break apart from them? How do you shine among all these people? Of course, as from a new party to somebody that people might not well
I
recognize.
can't do a question.
Can you hear me? So the
No,
question I'm
okay.
doing a little just digressing a little bit, saying how do you get people to be on board with your plan?
Yeah, it's a simple thing. See, if you look at how society is built, leadership is the most compulsory thing. You know, Societal leadership is just like raindrops. You understand? If you properly channel the water wey dey come from up, build dams and all of that, you can get electricity. You get it. You get it. You have a situation where the whole of your governance, you get it, enthusiastic ways of doing things will not only cheer the people to continue to defend, but it will make the people feel very seriously that, okay, we can defend ourselves, we can be self-secure, that this government is for us. So in our own plans is that to rouse the people is to give good examples. To rouse the people is to give them good guidance, good directions, proper plans, simple, acceptable, understandable plans. Eje ká ṣe business so that I'm a for fund the welfare. Simple. That's the two pillar project. Building collective government business, because government has the largest land, largest labor, and largest capital. So nothing dey stop us from building times 2 of what Ajayi did in Owena Holdings within 4 years. And then social welfare must now correspond, which will make the gross domestic product and the human development index balanced in a societal equation that almost everybody will be looking out to Ondo State as the example of good governance. Building good governance is a situation where you understand that the people who do the work, the people who till the lands, the people who secure the people, the police officers, the soldiers, the Amotekums, the hunters, you have that situation where you need the journalists, the teachers, the nurses, the doctors, the lawyers, all of these people with this expertise, the mechanics, the informal workers.
I think we lost you again there.
You know, who work within the households. You get it? Now, what we then need in terms of guidance is not rocket science. It's a leadership that is focused on building government business, exploring what government has in terms of its capital, in terms of its land, in terms of its labor, to build the largest of the companies, the largest of the industries, that will make society very relevant to what it's supposed to be. And then you use the funds to fund people's healthcare, people's housing, people's business, people's SMEs, make that there's nobody that is left on employment funds, making sure that nobody becomes lame and no corruption and criminality is allowed, bringing people back to schooling, bringing people back to correctional healthcare, preventive healthcare, and the most advanced of what it is. And then you find many Ondo State people coming back.
All right. Thank you so much, Cromwell. Let's move along to that education and healthcare. Again, education is the key, of course, to development. So, what are your policies, or what policies will you introduce to improve the quality of education at both primary, of course, secondary, and tertiary levels in Ondo states? Because I've been to all these our secondary schools, our primary school, public schools. It's like a dumpster where you throw dumps. So how do you want to help with this? Where are you going to start from?
See, the best global models, makes us understand, even if the Human Development Index, one thing they call conducive environment is very critical. All of us have gone to school. The comfort of your class alone makes it easier for you to have good education. The comfort of your books, the comfort of the food lunches you take, breakfast, the comfort of the computerization of that education. Because our own development is going to be building computer villages in major towns in Ondo State, from Ikare Akoko, Ogbagi, a lot of places, Akungba, Owo, Ose Ifon, you get it to Akure, Ondo, you get Odigbo, you get to Ore, Okitiwupa, Aromi, Obu, Ilaje, Akoi, Ikale. You need to understand very fervently that it is when you build collective wealth in a situation that will be very systematic. Because see, governance is not rocket science. When you understand that this is what we need Chinese, Indians in Lagos, they come to Lagos, they could come and borrow in banks. After borrowing some good money from those banks, you find a situation that these people just build one small factory and the rest, they start producing so massively in the large tons and become big, big giants, multiple companies and all the rest. Why is it that we cannot do it when we have even the best brains in our public people? They even employ a lot of people from even government coffers to come and be consultants there. So why can't we invest in these enormous human resources, in the enormous brilliance that Ondo State people carry, and rebuild a society with great wealth, rebuild such society, get it, with great social welfare? That is what we will do in our own manifesto, because we are talking about social wealth and social welfare. We need both. We need a situation where government comes back to doing business. We need companies. Ondo State deserves an airport. You get it? That will have airlines. There's no big deal. There's Ibom Airliner. It's state owned. It's one of the best in the country. It's like that. We know they go heaven, go bring examples at some point. If some people do some wells in some sectors, we say it.
Mm.
Ondo State get money now, where we can build our own airline.
Mm.
There's nothing bad in having a Emeko airline, very big one. You get it having 25 fleets, 20 fleets, 10 fleets. When we grow, like in the next 10 years, 15 years, we would have gotten all of that. But we can start with one fleet, two fleets, three fleets, do a lot of what we can do, and then say, okay, start rebuilding, because there is no big deal. We know some of our governors now who travel all around places with private jets everywhere. The money, even if you accumulate it, the kind of parking and all of that, we reach to have our own and make more Ondo State people to travel lightly, to travel freer, to travel lesser, get it with world class facilities.
Mm.
So advancing development is why Irapada Ondo is a must. Advancing development is why we need to build collective wealth together, and then we need to build collective social welfare at all levels in the most advanced manner and in the freest and fairest manner to all our people. And then we need to build a congressional life to defend all of these visions, because that's what we need. We need the ideas. We need the congressional practical solutions to defending it. If we do not have all of these things, we are deceiving ourselves, because it can come and it will be like flashlights and then it erodes.
Mm.
So, pointedly, we know very seriously that another Ondo is very, very possible, because we have the wealth. Nothing stops us. Nobody has this wealth more than our own people, ourselves. Nobody has the wealth more than our own ways of doing things. So people know that Ondo State is the best wealth that you can talk about.
Mm.
So
What's your video there?
the lot of what we are having, is doing things the way it's supposed to be, and be able to build society far better than how they are doing it today. Not just employ special assistants everywhere, and making the society.
We just lost our guest there. Let's see if he come back. Um, all right, if you're watching us live, we're talking about the vision for on those states And our guest today is Mr. Kunle Wiseman Ajayi. Is the AAC party governorship candidates for hashtag Ondo 2024. And we're just talking about education and healthcare, of course, security and governance. We're talking about his vision, of course, and his style of leadership for Ondo states. Let's see if we can get him to come back. I know he's having some internet challenges over there. Mr. Ajayi, are you there? Let's see. Hope his phone is not dead. Let's play this while we wait. The natural resources of the country is in the hand of the leaders. So you seem not to really care about the leadership like that. You more of let people, because I believe people's job or what people do daily is to go to their work to their job places. They are not part of the people that are making policies. And policies have a long way to go with how of course, the country is shaped or the nation is being shaped. That is lacking because the people we have, including the people that are still running right now, they are visionless. They do not have no agenda that will favor the masses. So if they are protesting or if they are agitating or saying the truth about the reality, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As long as they're not lying or they're not exaggerating the issue.
What should worry you? What should worry you is how come all the leaders of Nigeria are useless, right? And you guys will always say all of them are useless. I don't know whether you studied some bits of statistics. If you have a
All right, I think our guest is coming right back. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Ekole.
Sorry, it's a light situation.
Okay, I guess as much as well. All right, so let's quickly dive into youth empowerment and inclusion, which we've kind of talked about a little bit earlier. So the question is going to be, of course, we know that Ondo has a lot of youth population. So what initiative do you plan to launch to empower youth, to empower young people, especially in area like entrepreneurship and skill development?
I already said it that I'll be dedicating a lot to informal workers and SMEs. But more importantly, because we're going to be building a large network of industries too, are going to be returning a lot of people. You get it to working in a very decent factory. You get it job wise. So the mass employment is going to come definitely, both on big business and small, medium scale businesses. We have great understanding of the informal workers. We know what is to be done in our relationship with the tailors. You get it? In terms of advancing their work ethics, advancing what they do, encouraging them. You get it? Because what you need to do to encourage tailors is to build the textile industry
Mm.
in a very robust manner. You get it? What you need to do, you get it, to build your mechanics and all of that, is to build the iron and steel industry that will be perfect and massively respected. Get it? So we need a situation where government itself know that they need to at all times be there to stand with the people, be there to guide the people in terms of the job and employment they need to have. It should be the headache of government if an average citizen does not have employment. It should be the headache of government if an average citizen finishes school or is not even able to pay for schooling, because it's our job to educate every citizen. It's our job to educate every people. It's our job to rebuild society. It's our job to create jobs. And it's our jobs to take care of those who have worked in terms of robust pension, in terms of pensions, take-home pension. No be say make they come the queue every year without good health care. Their pension should come and meet them at home, pensioners, because we know all our workforce is only lies that people say there are no data. There is data. So we're going to explore good data to work on people who do not have jobs, to work of empowering those who have self-employment, to work on empowering and advancing informal work, especially with working with the Federation of Informal Workers Organization of Nigeria, which some of us have good relationship with nationally and in Ondo State. So to make sure that at the end of the day, when even informal workers retire, they would have something very beautifully, you get it, to live upon. Part of the things is for government to also build a great and robust cooperative. You can learn from the current F1 cooperative that is highly advanced, highly helpful, you get it, and much more honest than all the fakey lie insurance companies that you have in the whole of the country and cooperatives. So what this means is that we will help to advance the unionism of the people, the unionism of the working class, the unionism of the entire people who need work, the unionism of the self-employed, and the unionism of the informal workers. So these are our tragedies, our strategies. They are not going to be tragedies as it is today, because the working class today is a tragedy. The working class today is a trajectory of tragedies in a situation that people who work do not even have trust in the fact that that work can even help them to live. Because maybe in the talk say where you work, maybe you the job because na workshop. But the issue be say in the workshop you can't even have money to take you home. So we need to rebuild Ondo State. We need to build another Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much, comrade. I would like you to add the inclusion of women as well, because we
Yes, of
know.
course. You know our position politically on women is that you cannot have a social liberation and social freedom without the freedom and emancipation of the women. That is why we stand in total and unconditional support for women emancipation struggles, unconditional support for women emancipation agitations and struggles to rebuild a new society. Because the thing is that while we understand that women must be liberated, we also feel that it is the self-emancipation of the women class to be liberated by its own self. What we need is to massively encourage it and stand with it in solidarity forever and unconditionally. So as a state, it is of course not going to be debatable. It's going to be a 50-50 for both men and women. It's going to be a 50-50. That's our own joker, because everybody can do it. Nobody say it's not about gender. Neither is it about religion. Nor is it about ethnicity. It is about the knowledge. So for us, the employability of an average worker in Ondo State is going to be 50-50 between men and women. And we will consciously develop such working sense, consciously develop such working trainings, consciously develop such ideological compass that will make everybody believe that the women class is not a second class. The women class should be the center point of the people's class. Because without women, the production of humanity itself is aborted in the first place.
Awesome. Let's take this for the last question before your closing. It's going to be about infrastructure and technology. We kind of talk a little bit about how bad our roads are and all that, and what are your plans to improve and so, and most cases build transportation and energy to support the local economies.
The essence of physical infrastructure is to convey the conduciveness of social infrastructure. the conduciveness of business. You get it? If you have read Max Straight's From Cape to Cairo, the essence of the large rail network that was built is for the exploration and exploitation of all African resources. So to correctly, internally explore, you get it, and use appropriately the resources of Ondo State people, we must put great, which of course the major concentration on social welfare, but also a great proportion of our gains, our profits as a collective business, to building physical infrastructures that will make, because life is beautiful, life must be enjoyed for an average human, for every human, for every people, for every citizens, because we are going to build an Ondo State of citizens, an Ondo State of his own people, Ondo State of his own masses. And that is why physical infrastructure, building massive, beautiful houses, is going to be a priority. We want to build Ondo State of beauty that will compete among world-class cities and towns. Owo, Akure, Okchupa, Ondo, Igbokoda, Igbobini,
You're forgetting Ilara.
you
That's
know,
very
Naramoki, great places
right.
in Ondo State. Ose, Ifon, Upele, Ikari Akoko, Ogbagi, Oba Akoko. These are places where we know that we need to be.
I think your network.
Places we know that all of these places, so those states will become its biggest on its own, and we have what to do. We have all of the resources we can explore internally to start building on our best. You get it? So all of these resources, when it is correctly used in a collective business mindedness, building social and physical infrastructure becomes its easiest.
Thank you so much, Comrade. I'm going to add how, we talk about the infrastructure part of it. Now let's talk about of course, the technology. How will you
Of course, like I told you, I said we are
and development in Ondo? Your network is dancing Makosa. Are you there, comrade?
business alone. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So we need technology at its best. We do not have a situation, we need a situation where data will even be provided to every Ondo State people. Every Ondo indigene will be computerized and have his own computers in terms of education. So the best of technologies will be explored. So that's why I said our own plan, the Rapada Ondo plan itself, has its most lethargic, its most advanced visionaries in terms of ideas and what is to be done. So for infrastructure, technology, that provide the best of the computerization of society to get its fastest accountability, its fastest productivity, its fastest business points, you get it, and its fastest ascension and advancement in terms of growth and development. You can't do that in modern society. You can't build modern collective wealth, modern collective welfareism without technology. So it's an important base for us. A future and vision of for Ondo State is a future that is even more futuristic than what the future entails in terms of global future plans as it is today. Because the global future plans says some go slow attitude. No.
Network again.
Government IGR for government people. All of our we now be government people. Ondo State has data. All of us know people who do Ondo State. We know ourselves. We come in, we go outside. So we are going to build such society with great technology, great advancement, and it will be Irongulubade because it is Irapada, and that's how the best of societies are built.
Thank you so much, comrade. All right, so for closing, of course, as the election days is approaching, what final message do you have for the people of Ondo State regarding your candidacy and your vision for the state's future?
Ondo State, we have no choice other than to choose from going the bad way that we continue to go, from going the unlucky way that we continue to go, from growing with the disadvancement ways that we continue to go. Ondo State used to have the greatest human resources, the best brains, the most educated people, the most productive people. All over Nigeria, no state gets the number of companies we have in Owena Holdings. We even get our own bank. We can have those days. It's not rocket science. Then Baba Adekunle Ajasi, who did it, they don't get two heads. So what we are telling Ondo State people is that we can build a government where people will have collective wealth through building collective industries, collective business, putting government land, government labor, and government capital, which are in the largest of the proportions against any private wealth, to government business. And with the availability of government capacity, this business will.
We're having some technical difficulty over there. Let's see if we can bring you back up again. So Ajayi, are you there? And once again, if you're just joining us on, probably watching us live on YouTube or Facebook Live, we are deliberating about the future of Ondo. Welcome back. All right, go ahead with your closing.
Yes, so to build a lot of advancement, both in science and technology, in art, to build an Amsterdam plan like fantastic onshore, on water building without dredging, that we use the rail system in Ondo water and riverine area. No. Ondo State people need to choose. The youngest is the most politically economic conscious. The youngest is the most dedicated in terms of humanity. The youngest is the most enthusiastic. The youngest is the best in terms of solidarity, because it took the solidarity of people like Adekunle Ajasi with the people to work for the people, build wealth for the people, and build social welfare for the people. You cannot allow people who never in all of their lives of service to society built anything to tell you that they are lucky or that they have one Igbega somewhere. No. People cannot build on nothing. You cannot give what you do not have. We need to use the ideas, because I used to give one example. Imagine in 2003, if had gone behind Chief Gani Fawemi instead of Obasanjo, by now so many things that are supposed to be happening to us in the best of our economies, in the best of our politics, would not be as underdeveloped, as retrogressive as it is today. Because in terms of sense of management, sense of organizing, sense of solidarity, sense of knowledge, sense of honesty, senses of humanitarian services, Chief Gani Fawemi is far greater and far better than Obasanjo. So we are telling all Nigerians that the best is to always support those who defend the ideas of the people, those who defend the democracy of the people, those who defend the dividends of the people, and those who defend the correctness of the people, to be the ones to lead in government offices and be handed the political power to build growth and development for all, by all, and to all. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you so much. I think that's the end of this, the first series of our political insights. Of course, we're going to be bringing on board many other candidates and many political elites. Thank you guys for watching us, and of course, for the people that's going to watch us after the podcast. Our guests, we want to say thank you so much for honoring our invitation and for joining us to share your vision and your ideas for the people of Ondo. Thank you so much, sir, and hopefully we'll bring you back up again before the election. Is there going to be any debate soon? I forget to ask that.
I don't know. It depends on journalists to organize that. We are not the one to organize debate for ourselves.
Okay, I'm
But
just
I think there
asking
should be more debate.
if there's any that is already set apart.
Yeah,
Because
we're agitating for those debates, and I think there should be debates in a sane society.
yeah, we can even do online to make it in case people are saying they're too busy,
Media.
they can their room, their parlor, and we can do it like this. Once
Yeah.
again, thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Appreciate you for coming on board. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Mo kí
For
àwọn onídèédé ní Ondo, ìràpadà Ondo dandan ni o.
Very. Done. So that's that's a Kale. Oh, is that a Kale language? Oh, I think it has gone. Is that a Kale language? Oh, all right. Bye.